Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by. All right, my good friend Mr. Zach Pearson's joining us. Zach, what's happening, my man?
Oh, not a whole lot. What's going on?
I had a pretty big rant to start off the show.
Yeah, I was driving home just now. You gonna woosah before we start talking, or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna calm down.
Okay.
You're okay, but listen, Zach. I mean, let's just start with it here. I mean, Paul Mainieri gets all the flack in the world from LSU fans. I'm sure you felt it as a player, right? I mean, do you ever feel that rage that you just want to kind of come out and defend him? Like, am I the only person that just sometimes gets that rage? I mean, look, you played for Paul Mainieri, and you, I'm sure you feel that, right?
Yeah, I had a really good relationship with Coach Mainieri. So yeah, definitely it irks me sometimes. Listen, the guy's not perfect. No coach is. So I don't mind listening to people who they may have complaints and they can back it up. That's one thing. But there's a different like level of I don't know what they call them, but like nega tigers or whatever. But like that whole thing, I have no tolerance for that. So I'm kind of in the thing. I'm kind of in the team of like I enjoy debating stuff, but I also don't enjoy just totally baseless emotional, freakouts either.
Oh, well, you're a better man than me because I emotionally just freaked out. Zach, let me ask you a question before we get into this, talking to some LSU baseball. Did you have a pregame ritual? You know, like Joe Burrow had the inside-out sock and the sucker. Did you have a pregame ritual?
I don't know. I don't know if I was ever really locked into any one because I was a reliever. So it's like, even if I would have had a pregame ritual, I would have done all this, like, shooting my wad 4 hours before I actually got to even do anything. So for me, it was like, you know what I was really good at, though? I was very good at time managing a nap somewhere in my like afternoon or morning. So I would definitely get naps in. But I mean, aside from that, nothing too crazy. I know that so the Thursday nights, we would, the whole pitching staff would go to Mr. Gaddy's. I don't know if that counts as a ritual, but yeah, we would definitely.
Hell yeah, that counts as a ritual. When you got a buffet full of pizza, that's got to count as a ritual, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll give you a great story that I love to tell people this. But so we would always joke, man, the Gaddy's thing ties into so much. But we would always joke that if we would have won the national championship in 2015, we felt like we had a good enough team to do it. We were right into the hunt, and our pitching staff was fully on board. If we win this national championship, we are walking as a Johnny Hole staff into a tattoo parlor, and we are getting a tattoo on our butt cheeks. And this was going to be the tattoo. It was going to be a wheelbarrow, which already is, its own. The whole mentality of the pitching staff is like, you need a wheelbarrow to carry them around, right? We were going to do that. But we were going to have it like NASCAR sponsored by Mr. Gaddy's. That was the design. That was the design. Yeah, we were going to do it too. And we would joke about it a lot. In fact, pregame, whenever we'd break it down as a staff, it'd be like 1, 2, 3 Gaddy's. That's what we'd break it down to before every game. So that ended up getting so big that like our staff was like, oh, we're in. We're doing it. There's no question. Alan Dunn was even like, you know what, boys, I'll be willing to throw some money to the fund if you guys want to do it.
Could you imagine Alan Dunn getting a wheelbarrow tattoo sponsored by Mr. Gaddy's? Wouldn't have that been great? God.
Oh, man. Talk about a legend. I don't know if he would have actually gotten the tat, but I'm saying he would have been like, I'd be willing to come with you guys and make it like an actual like pitching moment. And then we fell just short, but we were so serious about it that we almost went and got it anyway after losing.
Now that year, who did y'all lost in the Super Regional, correct?
No, we lost in Omaha. Yeah, we almost went and got it done a random night in Omaha after we were out.
Could you imagine, and we'll get to some baseball, could you imagine like 13 dudes coming in here and saying, we want a wheelbarrow sponsored by Mr. Gaddy's on Ranch Street?
Man, and honestly, my wife was like, she's way smarter than I am in pretty much every aspect of life. And she was one of the main ones who was like, Zach, you are not going into a tattoo parlor right now. We were trying to find a place that was open at like 1 a.m. We were like, oh yeah, we're doing it. And she was like, no, sir, you're not.
I got a couple tattoos. One of them that I probably should have never gotten. I'm not going to disclose where it is, but it might be in the same general location that says something that no one needs to know.
It's such a great, but it's such a great location because it's like I have full control over who gets to see this tattoo.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
That's like maybe one of the only spots that's like I fully control who knows this is here and who doesn't.
Well, Kenny says Phil Moody would have been thrilled, the Gaddy's owner. Okay, well, you know what, Kenny, we got to get in touch with Kenny and listen. This is what we're gonna do here. If this podcast tonight gets over 1,000 downloads, or we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I will go get not you, Zach. I will go get a wheelbarrow. I will go get a tattoo on my ass cheek that with a wheelbarrow and a Mr. Gaddy's tattoo. Sponsored by Mr. Gaddy.
That would be phenomenal. You know, so since we're on the topic of Gaddies, I'll throw another quick one out there. We went and made the teddy bear, Little Brown Sugar. We made him a random morning. The pitching staff, there was like 7 of us. We went to the mall. We got it done. Well, I don't know if you've ever been in Build-A-Bear, but you can do the little recording to where you press a little button and it's something that you recorded. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but Little Brown Sugar, when you squeeze his hand, it breaks down Gaddies on 3, 1, 2, 3 Gaddies. That's what Little Brown Sugar says. Yeah, great fun fact.
The great thing about baseball is like that story, right? That's the great thing. I love it. Look, you mentioned about Alan Dunn. Let's get serious here. I guess we got to be serious. Look, it's good, Zach. We came off a serious rant to some very funny Gaddies talk. Wait, one more. Did you ever try the macaroni pizza at Mr. Gaddy's? Because I didn't. I felt like I was going to it was not going to happen.
I'll say it's not great. No, I mean, I think if you go to Gaddy's that many times, you kind of got to try it all.
Oh, dude, I would murk that salad bar, dude. I would just.
Hey, one time we walked in there before a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. So we go in on a Wednesday night instead this time. Right. And we walk in this huge group of just units. I was the smallest guy on the team, I think. So we walk in this group of units and the poor girl working the door, she just turns it back. She goes, "Oh God, they're here." So she was like, "Oh, it's the wrong day."
Guys, it's Wednesday. I don't have to work tomorrow. Please turn around.
We were like, "I'm sorry, we should have called ahead." This is a different week.
I love it. Yeah. Zach, you talked about Alan Dunn. A lot of people are really questioning a lot of the stuff that Alan Dunn's doing. You were a pitcher your entire life. You play collegiately and to the next level. What's going on with this bullpen, man? I mean, there's parts of me that looks at this Mississippi State weekend and say, look, they got a lot of young arms. They don't have Matthew Beck out there. Is there anything specific that you're seeing and maybe Alan Dunn could fix going in more into the SEC?
Well, coaching wise, I can't really speak much on like the whole like mechanics things, right? Some guys maybe falling off or whatever. Dunn is really good at catching stuff like that. As far as like pitching changes in game, I don't think Alan Dunn has too much say so on that side. And then when it comes to mentality, Dunn's probably the best I've ever been around for coaching, like lighting the fire under you, getting after it when it matters. So I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what the complaints are and what they are around Alan Dunn. And for those that are around Alan Dunn, I'm not sure how many of them actually have to do with him versus the player themselves. I'll also say I wasn't really able to watch too much this weekend. I had it on all 3 days, but my wife matched for residency Friday morning, so the games didn't really take a priority for me. The scores looked close, but also far enough that it's like we either played a hard-fought loss or not.
We look like Rudy Poo.
Yeah. What was your opinion of it? The little bit I watched looked decent, but like I said, I was in and out the whole time.
Yeah, we have a question here from Blake who asked both of us. I'll take this first, Zach, but he asked us both. He says, with the state series loss, how much should we worry about this year? This is what I saw in the series, Zach, that I think worried me. And I'm being open and honest here. Paul, a team that led the nation in home runs, Paul then tinkers the lineup to put more defensive guys in the lineup. That worries me a lot. Putting Collier Cranford at second, a guy that has shown that he can't hit well. You try Gio, but then he gets re-injured. He tinkered with the lineup with a team that leads the nation in home runs. A guy like Cade Veloso. And Zach, you can speak to this more than I do because people act like I don't know baseball. It's okay. Veloso is getting thrown middle third out, and he's trying to pull everything. Okay, take the ball the other way, man. And that's the mentality it feels like from every hitter on this team. Take the ball the other way. Try to get it through the hole. Do something. From a pitching staff, Zach, this is my biggest complaint. Landon Marceau has not given up an earned run. Okay, move him to Friday. Give Jaden Hill a little bit of relief because that guy on Friday is going to be better than that guy on Saturday. I guarantee you. He needs a little bit of relief. He's only thrown, Zach, not even 30 innings in college. Those are some small things that I think that they can tinker with. That's me. But when you were able to watch it, I know you had a lot going on. Was there something specific that caught your eye during the 3-game series?
Well, actually, it seemed like every time I looked up Saturday night was whenever we were on defense. So I didn't get to watch many at-bats. I thought the little bit I saw from Marceau, he looked great. My only thing would be with flip-flopping those guys is you would throw Marceau into a week where he's on short rest. And that could have no consequences in the long run, right? If you're fortunate enough, it might not mean anything. But worst case scenario, that guy comes out one day short of rest, maybe finds this lingering issue all of a sudden, and then it has these implications a month down the season, right? So I think at this point, unless you find yourself in a bye weekend somewhere, I don't know if you really want to be flip-flopping your Friday and Saturday just because, like I said, it could tinker with Marceau just that little bit if he's already locked into this routine. And I don't think Hill has been bad enough that he needs to be thrown in the back end. Actually, from the little bit I saw from him Friday, he looked fine. Mississippi State pitches the ball very well. I think a bigger issue may be, like you said, if he's tinkering with the lineup a lot. Yes, offensively we've been fantastic, but pitching wise, Mississippi State has been fantastic. So I don't know if that's really the time to be, or the team to be trying stuff out against.
Right.
But
well, and that's the biggest complaint, Zach. I get defense, and look, you're a pitcher. I'm assuming that you love better defense, right? But for example, we have guys out here saying, and people saying that a guy. Again, we're not trying to poo-poo on players, but realistically, this is what's going on in real life. Alex Milazzo, and I know that catchers get a lot of leeway, and I want you to talk about this more than me because you were a pitcher. I know that you want a guy that's elite defensively and that can control the game. But at some point, when a guy's hitting below 150, you got to make some tinkering there, right? Like you can't have that guy hitting below 150 and act like that's okay, right? If Paul Mainieri came to you, let me ask this a different way. If Paul Mainieri came to you and said, look, I know that you like Alex defensively, but you have this other catcher who's hitting 250, 260, 275, but he's a little bad defensively. How bad does that affect you as a pitcher?
Well, so in their specific case, I think it would be tough to make that decision from my standpoint because I don't really know how. I don't know where Travinsky is on the defensive side. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen him catch yet. Like really catch.
He's thrown 3 out of 5 batters. He's not bad receiving the ball. He did give a couple of balls that went past him, but I'm right there with you. We haven't seen a lot of him, Zach.
He swings the hell out of it. There's no question there. And then on the other hand, Milazzo is an absolute beast defensively, right? So I think what you got to start doing whenever you're weighing out catchers who may be in opposite camps there, and I'm saying opposite camps, I don't mean it to be offensive to either one of them, but you get what I'm saying. Where you may be weighing out the advantages of an offensive catcher versus a defensive catcher. Well, I think that kind of falls on the rest of your lineup. And if the rest of your lineup is leading the entire nation in home runs, maybe we don't need more offense But if we're tinkering with the rest of the lineup to add defense to those positions, then you do have to sacrifice some defense in other positions too. So I think it's a balancing act that really would take a lot of experimentation, and I think it would take a lot of trials. You're going to have some errors with the trials, but with the way this schedule is set up, I don't know if we really have opportunities to be doing that, or we might find ourselves, in a 400 record really quickly in the SEC. So I don't know. Currently I kind of stand in the camp of, I think we leave Milazzo out there. I think we leave our hitters on defense. And then I don't know, man. You try to find a spot for Travinsky. I don't personally like the idea of taking Beloso out the lineup because I know where his potential is. But if he's our coldest bat, then I don't know. It's almost an embarrassment of riches on the offensive side, and they're trying to balance out where the gloves are going to land.
Zach,
and I'm personally pretty glad nobody's calling me for that decision.
I know, and look, that's a lot of reason why Paul's taking a lot of flack. Look, you won 1 of 3 against the number 2 team in the country. Let's give him another weekend. You talked about Beloso, man. I mean, look, it kind of feels at times, Zach, he's snake bitten, like he's hitting the ball mega hard all over the place. But again, if you watch his at bats, and I tried to rewind and go back during a commercial break, they are throwing the ball at him middle. Either they're going to really jam him and want him to pull into the shift, or they're throwing him everything middle third outside, and he's trying to pull it. I mean, is it as simple, Zach, as telling the kid, stay back on the ball, let it get deep, and try to drive the ball the other way? Because if he does that, he can be deadly. And that's what a kid that had 10 home runs as a freshman, I mean, he's got the potential. Is it that simple of a fix?
I'm honest. I honestly don't know. I think you tinker with the lineup. I think you maybe put him in different spots. How far has he dropped in the 9 so far? Like, is he still kind of carrying some of the weight at the top end?
No,
he's down, right?
No, he's down. Look, he's around 220. I want to say 225 to 230-ish. Here's the
lineup. Sorry, like I'm talking about like 1 through 9.
Yeah, he went from 4 to 8. I mean, and now he's out of the lineup currently.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, there's that.
That's a really tough decision to make. Because a guy like Beloso, what I like about him a lot, what kind of draws me to him is you can definitely tell in the dugout, in the huddles, in everything, you can tell the team kind of clings to him, and he's very much one of the batteries on this team. And so it's tough because you have this veteran guy who does have the potential to really ball out. This guy's got the potential to literally change a weekend series against one of these top 3 teams like Mississippi State. So it is tough if this guy's in a slump and you have these other dudes on the bench who are swinging the hell out of it today. It's tough to be like, okay, well, where is the leadership? Where's the value there? Are we losing that if we take him out? What's the balance with all that? That is a very complicated answer. And I mean, like you said, if he's out of the lineup right now, I hope he finds his way back in eventually. And I hope that when he does, it's because he earned it. Because I do think that kid does deserve it, but he needs to be swinging it, because if you're not swinging it, man, you're not going to see the field.
And that's the point. Look, I grew up in a household legitimately 65% of my life where a head coach in baseball said, hey, if you can hit the ball over the fence and you can drive the ball, I don't care if your defense is as worse as Chuck Knobloch, you're going to be out there. And
we'll find a spot. We'll
find a spot for you, right? And I think it's some mechanical stuff that he's got to fix. He's very level. Like he's not on top of the ball ever. He's always kind of just swinging level. And so instead of just driving down, throw the knob of the ball. That's just the small stuff I've seen. Zach Pearson, former LSU baseball pitcher and minor league pitcher, I might add, is joining the show. Zach, they go to Tennessee this weekend, a team that they have kind of turned it around, a kind of a sleeper team. Mm-hmm. How desperate, and it's so stupid for me to ask this question, but I know the energy around LSU right now. Yeah. How bad not only do they need to win this series, but even possibly sweep a Tennessee?
Yeah, so I think if you're trying to establish yourself as one of these top tier teams, like the top 5 teams in the nation are, I think if you want to consider yourself in that group, you really need to be beating these teams. And that's much easier said than done. Tennessee's going to be able to have some guys that run out there on the mound that are going to try to shut your bats down. They're going to have some dudes who can swing it. They always do. They always will. At the end of the day, I do believe that LSU is the better team. And like I said, dropping 2 out of 3 against Mississippi State and then turning around and putting it on a team that you consider yourself in that tier below you, that throws you back up in there, that puts you back in the discussion. I do think they need to come out, make a statement, leave no doubt. They were off last night due to weather or whatever that was. So I think that, they need to come out fresh legs, fresh battery, and like I said, establish it, leave no doubt, come home with a better SEC record, right? Like come back 4-2, ready for weekend 3. That would be great.
That'd be huge. It would be huge.
Yeah.
We have a comment here from Logan Langley who says, #Zac the nasty person or Pearson. 2024 make baseball great again. Zac, would you become if you're asked to be the next commissioner of Major League Baseball, would you replace Rob Manfred?
Oh God, yeah. I'd say yeah before I heard of the rest of the terms. Yeah.
Hey, look, I don't hate Rob Manfred. I strongly dislike him. That's just me. Craig said something funny here. Craig, he said, this is where Ari Smith makes or earns his salary. Let's see how I can help him. Well, brother, he don't make a salary. There's only 2 coaches, So anyway, Zac, one more question. I'll get you out of here. You're a PS5 man. I'm a PS5 man. Thank you.
Welcome.
Are we buying MLB The Show with Tatis on the cover or Jackie Robinson on the cover? I'm going Robinson.
See, okay. You see, I'm cheap, right? I'm very cheap. I say I'm cheap. I had a day 1 PS5. I'm cheap, okay? But no,
right.
But I always seem to buy into those like the special edition covers. And then I take these extra perks that they spend the whole like month before release advertising and talking up. And I think like, okay, yeah, I'll use those perks. I immediately waste them. They don't fit my game at all. And then I just threw extra money down the drain. So I don't know. In this case, it's actually a pretty decent option with Tatis because I do love that dude. Really hard to pass up Jackie Robinson. Almost bit the same bullet for 2K with the Mamba edition. I was almost like, I'm getting that Mamba edition, but then I went Zion anyway. But I think you just kind of got to, I don't know, man, you got to weigh it out. It's tough. They definitely did that for a reason. I'll say that. There's a team of marketers who are not stupid behind that decision.
No, not at all. Let me ask you, I said last question, but do you play the show a good bit?
So, yeah, I buy it. I probably buy it every other year. This one I'm thinking about getting. I typically try to wait until the second year of a new generation of consoles because usually the first year is just the last generation's game with a paint of coat of paint over it.
Right.
So I do acknowledge that next year's MLB The Show is probably going to crush this year's, but I still think I have to get one for the PS5 anyway. Yeah,
I'm going to do it, and I'm going to hit 1,000 home runs with my creative player. I'm going to probably hit like 4,000 or 5,000 RBIs, and I'm going to steal a whole bunch of bases at 261 pounds, which was my playing weight. I got to do that. I call myself the Big Daddy, because they can't say. Here's another question: do they say person or Pearson when on the video game?
Oh God, it's always person.
Yeah,
I can't change the pronunciations ever. It's frustrating, but
maybe in next gen they could do something like that. You would think so. All right,
I should be able to record my own pronunciation. And
I know that's how I feel. That's how I feel about it too. I mean, if you can turn my TV on when I press a little button, I should be able to, say my last name. I just want you to say.
And then it goes into the database. So where like in the future, they know how to say Ruffino for the rest of the games. It can't be that hard to just save it.
You mean to tell me there's no other Ruffino on planet Earth that's not playing MLB The Show? Get out of here with that. Get out of here. Yep. All right, Zac, we greatly appreciate you joining, man. And as always, thank